Don in London, hello. It's February 18th, 2010. My video is all about recovery from addiction to either substance or behaviour. My addictive substance, alcohol, my behaviour could be just as addictive. Behaviour like work, workaholic, relationships, collecting, materialism. Much of everything that life has had to offer over the years in a way which probably was very unhelpful to me, because inside me was a great big empty gap, a feeling of less than, a feeling of fear, but I had to know what fear was first. I was in ignorance for a long time, and one of my quotes yesterday, ignorance is not bliss. And trying to learn how to live life on a daily basis these days has helped me understand that I need a gap inside me for growth, and I need a little bit of fear some of the time to keep me safe from things which might harm me. And I also need some courage, some faith and confidence to be able to live sober one day at a time. So how is this achieved? Well, every person's path into sobriety, out of addiction into recovery, is unique and authentic. We sometimes go quickly, sometimes slowly, sometimes we don't seem to be making any progress, and sometimes we go backwards, which could be a relapse into the substance or the behaviour. So we have to be careful in recovery that we're making progress at the pace which we can go at and life experience affords. And the problem with anybody who's faced addiction is we want it now. We want to be fixed and we want to be perfect. And the answer is no such thing as perfection, but that shouldn't stop us striving to be the best we can be. So on a daily basis, the best we can be is to take account of what is in front of us, what we need do to make life work, or to live life the best we can. So that means having the right attitude, and the right behaviour. So rather to the extremes where we don't really operate well. And if we're always operating to the extremes, that means we have no balance. So if we're at the extremes of fear, putting on a brave face and ego, that's not so good for us. And if we're at the other end of courage, faith and confidence without substance, although faith has no substance other than faith in what can be, it doesn't help us. Somewhere in the middle, where we are able to understand what our expectations are best being, is probably the safest place to live. So on a daily basis, my expectations are I'm alive, I'm sober right now, and I have a toolkit to help me keep well on the path of recovery. And that path of recovery is helped enormously by family, friends and community, and also keeping sober with the fellowship of AA. So AA, Alcoholics Anonymous, is where I go to get my understanding of how to live with a good attitude and behaviour which is consistent with my life today, and not a wishfulness or wanting to be fixed in some way. There will always be that, because we are always hopeful of winning the lottery or something to fix us. That's all right. It's a bit of a wishfulness, but if it's out of proportion, then that's behavioural again. So we learn, and AA, Alcoholics Anonymous, is the foundation of the 12-step program for me, the 12 steps of AA to change my attitude and behaviour on a daily basis. So what is fellowship? Well, I share the AA preamble or statement of intent here, some information from the AA literature, and one or two quotes which I've picked up off the back of other things I've been doing in my studies. So what is AA? Here is the statement of intent. Alcoholics Anonymous is a fellowship of men and women who share their experience, strength and hope with each other, that they may solve their common problem and help others to recover from alcoholism. The only requirement for membership is a desire to stop drinking. There are no dues or fees for AA membership. We are self-supporting through our own contributions. AA is not allied with any sect, denomination, politics, organisation or institution, does not wish to engage in any controversy, neither endorses nor opposes any causes. Our primary purpose is to stay sober and help other alcoholics to achieve sobriety. So implicit in that statement is the fellowship of AA is a fellowship with people who go for one reason, that's a desire not to drink, and then share experience, strength and hope to share a message of possibilities and living in the moment of now often. So it's a program of emotional, spiritual and physical well-being. So emotionally and spiritually, if we have an understanding of where we are today, so emotionally, how am I feeling, why, what can I do, and spiritually for me is being able to cope with living in the moment. That said, it's all about truth, openness, honesty and willingness to make the best of what is life today. So it's not complicated, but we make it so because we put a lot of thinking into it. We think we can do our lives, and the more we think we can do our lives, the less we are feeling life and doing life or being in life. So it's a balance, really. The art of living is embracing everything from our thinking to our feeling, all of those things. But feelings normally come first, and then we try and think them into a possibility of what's right for us. That's the way our brains work. Perception first, and then our thinking, or our judgment about our perceptions. Gosh, it's complicated living, isn't it? Anyway, sober today, and I picked up a few quotes off the research I'm doing. Here's one. Man's many desires are like the small metal coins he carries about in his pocket. The more he has, the more they weight him down. In other words, the more we have, the more we are weighted. But in the Fellowship of AA, we just collect chips annually, or a few in the first year. And that was from Satya Sai Baba. Very well, I don't need to say more about that really here. Another one, Carl Sandburg. Hope is an echo. Hope ties itself yonder, yonder. So we can have hope for today, but if we go too far forwards, we're into wishful thinking. Thomas Fuller. If it were not for hopes, the heart would break. Yeah, but hopes for today is probably a good idea. Tom Baudet. They say a person needs just 3 things to be truly happy in this world: someone to love, something to do, and something to hope for. And as you'll probably find on my web pages, to love, be loved, and useful. And Pliny the Elder. I have to research Pliny the Elder because I don't know anything about this particular character of history. Hope is the pillar that holds up the world. Hope is the dream of a waking man or woman. And Aristotle. Hope is a waking dream. So from 2,000 years ago to not too far in the distant past, and here I am. So hope is a waking dream, and if we have hope in the day when we wake up, we've probably got a good chance of our attitude and behaviour being to the positive. And in this book, Daily Reflections for today, all about step 2 in February, the being restored to sanity and having a higher power to help us. It says our paths are our own. There was nothing left for us but to pick up the spiritual kit of spiritual tools laid at our feet. My first attempt at the steps was one of obligation and necessity, which resulted in a deep feeling of discouragement in the face of all those adverbs: courageously, completely, humbly, directly, and only. I consider Bill W. fortunate to have gone through such a major, even sensational spiritual experience. I had to discover as time went on that my path was my own. In other words, we all have our own path, unique, authentic, but not special and different. After a few 24 hours in the fellowship, thanks especially to sharing of members in the meetings, I understood that everyone gradually finds his or her own pace in moving through the 12 steps. Through progressive means, I try to live according to these suggested principles, and they are only suggestions. As a result of these steps, I can say today that my attitude towards life, people, and towards anything having to do with God has been transformed and improved. Beautiful that we get transformation and improvement, sometimes slowly, sometimes quickly. And the serenity prayer, which helps me when things are going tough or well. To God or good conscience or a higher power of your understanding, God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference.